and we are live with another episode of BS Busters. A little bit late, but hey, we're all human. Shit happens. So with that being said, let's have everyone introduce themselves, starting with the lady first. Go ahead.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Welcome to BS Busters Midweek Podcast. I am July Eli Moonstar, and UB flu- needs to be flushed down the toilet again.
We are live with another episode of BS Busters. Yeah. A little bit late, but hey.
Yeah, this is Kanoshi Abominita here to say Axel Rose. Axel Rose sounds like the name of. It sounds like it should be the name of a Guilty Gear character.
Yes, it does. But believe it or not, Guilty Gear stole their name from him. and from Guns N' Roses, so like that's his name, and they stole it from them, from him, not the other way around. But with that being said, let's get to it right now. So yeah, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor BS Busters. So before we go any further, let me show you how to get in touch with the cast. In order to get in touch with the channel, you can reach me at mrredfoxbsbusters@gmail.com, or you can at me on Twitter at Matthew Wesley, Mr. Red Fox 91, or there's a link to the Discord underneath this video in the description. So that's how you can reach the channel. So without much ado, let's get into it. Let's get into it, honey. Bullshit Busters, where we basically find bullshit, we see it, then we take a hammer and smash it so that it splatters and hits everybody. Because unfortunately, sometimes that happens. But without much ado, the overall topic of today's podcast is reevaluations, where you basically have to go back and
Where we go backwards in time to see about games and see if they become better or worse to us, depending on our point of view.
Yeah, yeah. So let's do it. Starting with the first topic, which is, do certain old games hold up? Or are games that we loved, like, you go back and play them? Because recently I got a GameCube / N64 HDMI converter. Because my CRT died like 4 months ago, and I'm just like, in order for me to get a new CRT, it would be prohibitively expensive. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just get I'll finally break down and get a HDMI converter. So
Makes me wonder about those Smash players wanting to play their games on those CRTVs.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like here's the thing, okay? I have Smash Brothers Melee. I was looking through my stack of GameCube games that I have, and guess what I found? Okay, I had 4 copies of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door because basically I had played that game so much back in the day
that scratched the disc.
I destroyed 2 discs. Yeah, I destroyed 2 discs playing that game so much. So I bought 2 more when it was cheaper a long time ago and stashed one away. And I've been playing the other one. That's one of my topics later on. Is it as good as I remember? Because it's been 5 years since I played that game. 5 long years. Like, maybe I was holding it in nostalgia goggles, but that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about a reevaluation of games that, in hindsight, were not as good or better than you thought. So, who wants to go first with, like a game they're like, actually, this is better than I thought it was gonna be?
Personally, I'm gonna go on the opposite direction and say that Super Mario World 3 didn't go as polished as I remember it.
You mean the one for the NES?
Yep, and I know people are gonna say, this is the best Mario game ever of the past. Why are you aiming this way?
No.
I'm just saying that there's been better 2D Mario games that kind of raised the bar since.
I agree.
And if anything, the Mario Maker series is making levels that are both good and bad. So if anything, I can see where the quality of that is, for better or worse. I said for better or worse because whoever makes some of these levels are are geniuses, and some of them that
Trolls.
are yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Here's what I'll say.
Knowledge may vary.
Mario Maker shows that the people at Nintendo are really good at making Mario games. Because even the good Mario Maker levels, I'm like I recently saw a thing where they tried to remake Super Mario World with Mario Maker. And you would think they could do that, but they can't because the assets aren't the same and it doesn't play the same and the physics are different. So even then, even if you have Mario Maker, you just can't do it. Um,
At least, if anything, I could say that some of the levels on there they are good for what Mario Maker is, but uh, as I said, there's always the good and bad side of that coin that's in Mario Maker,
yeah.
and are and heavens help you if you ever find somebody that makes Kaizo levels.
Well, some of the levels in Mario Maker are basically Kaizo level of bullshit.
Yeah, reason why I said hope to the stars that you never run into those, because that could pretty much sour your taste of the series.
Some of them are Kaizo level bullshit. Unfortunately. Um,
So to get back on the positive side, one of the games that kind of aged on me well and actually grew with me, it's a double it's a double dose of rare games, Killer Instinct and the Donkey Kong Country series.
yeah, those games hold up. You know.
Yeah. So if anything, the Killer Instinct series it kind of really went wild, but in a good way. Though I'm kind of glad that I haven't seen the super meters back in the any SNES days when Killer Instinct was for for that system.
Yeah, for me, like once a fighting game starts adding super meters, I kind of shut down. Like I don't want to play a fighting game that has super meters and shit like that.
Yeah, somebody needs to create a fighting game that says, "Man, that abandons the idea of super meters."
Well, I mean, it's not that super meters within and of themselves are like the worst thing ever. The thing that bothers me with the super meters is that basically they're there to essentially give someone who's not skilled enough to play the game the way it was meant to be played out to kick someone's ass and get out of a bad situation. The problem is that it basically doesn't it basically gives people an out for people who don't want to learn how to play the game properly.
Yeah.
Which I mean, you know, it's kind of like it's like, oh man, I don't want to actually learn how to play this the way it was meant to be played. I'll just cheat. And that's basically what, you know, I know it's a gameplay mechanic, but it feels like it's like if you could basically play chess and instead of you learning how the moves, how every piece moves and how to basically predict what your opponent's moves are going to be, 5 moves, 10 moves, 15, 20 moves in, you just had like you could basically not you could take half of your opponent's pieces off the board with the flip of your hand. That's basically what a super move is, and super meters and all that shit. It cheapens the value of the gameplay, in my opinion. Now, you know, I could be wrong, you know, but that's my opinion.
In fighting games, I could at least agree with you. Though in other games, it your mileage may vary.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, super moves just kind of cheapen in fighting games. Now, some other games don't have super moves, and I'm okay with that. But in fighting games, if I'm playing a fighting game and it has super moves in it, I'm like, I can't support you. Like when Soul Calibur added super moves, I'm like, I can't support you. I can't do it. Cause a fighting game doesn't need super moves.
Yeah.
But people get mad when you say that. They're like, how could you say that? Very easily. Kadoshi, you have an old game that stood the test of time, or one that you loved when you were younger, and now you're like, this is shit.
I at least said my three.
Let's see. Obviously, Super Mario World is a game I really liked when I was younger, but holds up a lot. And, still holds up today. And then, I guess a game I thought was really good at the time when I was a kid, and now I just think is awful. I think just a lot of the a lot of the PlayStation games, just because they don't control all that well. Like Rayman 2 for the PlayStation, that's not the one you want to play.
No, you want the N64 one.
The N64 or the Dreamcast version.
Yeah.
But like that's not the version of the game you want.
I mean,
the PS2 version is probably one of the best versions of that game.
I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to keep it 100% real with you. The PlayStation in general is a console that didn't hold up over time, except for the RPGs. But RPGs are by and large very contemplative. You don't need great graphics in order to have an RPG. But like a lot of the games that people were hyped up about for the PlayStation, go back and play that shit now. It's hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of N64 games, even though they aren't perfect, the underlying concept behind those games is still sound today, and from a gameplay design perspective. Not saying it's perfect, I'm saying it's sound. Like, you can go back and play Beetle Adventure Racing, and that game stands the test of time. You can go back and play Diddy Kong Racing, and that game stands the test of time. You can go back and play Donkey Kong Country 64, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Mario 64. Yeah, I know people are like, Mario 64, the graphics, and it's kind of basic. Look, I understand it's basic as fuck. I understand it's not great. But mechanically, the underlying gameplay concepts in those games still stand the test of time. There's a lot of games that people were hyped up about during the PlayStation 1 era that I play and I'm like, this is fucking trash.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one game on the N64 that has not aged well. Star Fox 64. Not aged well. And the only reason I'm saying this is because just on this is my own personal thing. It doesn't really resonate with me. Like, the music isn't that memorable. The gameplay, it's basically like the best hits of the original Star Fox and Star Fox
2.
And Star Fox 2 on the SNES. And it's just like it doesn't have a kicking soundtrack. A lot of the levels are just boring. They get fucking boring after a while to me. All range mode is a joke. I'm sorry. I know people are like, I love all range mode. Look, how many times can you chase Star Wolf and those fuckers around, get to the edge of the map, do an automatic U-turn, and start doing it all over again? It's boring. It's almost as bad as playing the multiplayer.
Actually, if you ask me, the single player is the best. So the all range mode is second, and multiplayer is dead last.
I gotta disagree with you. There's only one all range mode fight in that game that's actually kind of fun, and that's the hardest level version of the Andros fight, where after you have like the typical Andros fight, you have to fight his brain teleporting around. That's the only that's the only reason. The only reason that fight is fun is because it's actually different, because he teleports around. The combat's different. Every other all-range mode's just like, okay, you gotta shoot so many fighters. Hey, you gotta. It's basically a glorified escort mission. Make sure the enemies don't blow this shit up. It's like, come on,
I'm
man.
Sorry. Glorified escort mission, my ass.
It is.
It is.
Well, actually, no, I take that back. It's a babysitting mission, because you got to make sure enemies don't destroy certain targets. And I'm like, this could have been fun, but you didn't make it that way. To me, Star Fox 64 is just not as good as I remember it. I remember when it came out, like I played the shit out of it. I recently went back and hooked up the N64 and plugged that shit in with the Rumble Pack, and I was like, I'm not feeling it. I mean, and here's the thing: I was never that into Star Fox 64 because I preferred the original. Even though the original doesn't age that well either, I think they're both on par with not aging very well. But at least with the original Star Fox, I can listen to some kick-ass music while playing at 15 frames per second. I can't even get that with 64. So
I was about to say, the only thing I could fully disagree with you on is the all-range mode being a babysitting thing.
no, not every all-range mode, but there's some all-range modes where it's like, okay, you have to shoot down these many enemies. You have to make sure the enemy doesn't destroy these targets. Or if you have a dogfight, it's basically like the all-range mode with the dogfights against Starwolf and his team is the equivalent to what you do in the multiplayer, except it's against AI opponents, so they're following a set pattern and it's not nearly as unpredictable. So even then, it's still like it's in some ways it's worse than the multiplayer in that regard. But that's just my own personal opinion. I know some people love that game a lot, but I am not one of them.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
At least the all-range mode is a lot more tolerable than the multiplayer, because seriously, you get everybody barrel rolling, dodging loop-de-loops, dodging U-turns.
Yeah, it's the same shit over and over again. It's boring, okay? It's fucking boring. And that's the cardinal sin for me for games. If you have a game that has like all these different things, and then part of it just gets really fucking boring, you've already failed because the game is not supposed to be boring. And I'm not saying that there are actions in games that are repetitive and rote, that are cathartic, that some would characterize as boring. For example, I love Harvest Moon. That game has a lot of boring segments for most gamers, but I love it. I think it's cathartic. So, you know, it's a subjective thing, but
I consider that as Zen Garden kind of thing.
I mean, I guess you could, but I mean, like, okay, like planting crops, watching them grow, impregnating your cows, waiting till they give birth, feeding the animals, feeding the chickens, picking up eggs. I mean, it's very repetitive and like to me, it's cathartic. Some people, it's fucking boring, and I can understand that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I consider gameplay as a few different segments. Like it's an action fighting segment. There's the Zen Garden segments. There's those careful what you do segments, RPG like. And then there's the boring sections, but that is honestly something rare. That's honestly the rarest thing I ever find in video games. Anything boring.
No, for me, they're games that like I play them and I'm like, okay, this game is not only just not doing it for me, but it's boring. It's just boring, and that to me, that's a quintessential sign of not a good game is. If you have segments of your game where shit should be engaging but it's boring, to me, that is a major failure of a game.
Yeah. No, that's the weird thing with the games that I usually buy. I usually have a hard time finding boring.
Oh no, there's boring shit in every game to me. It's just it depends on the level of boredom that we're getting. But that's neither here nor there. Anyone have any other games they want to throw into the arena as being better or worse than you remember?
One worse, and that's an odd one. The Civilization games, in a sense.
All of them, or which? Because some of them are better than others. Some of them are worse.
In a sense, going from the SNES up to the GameCube days, I consider that period basically a downturn to me. Like,
really? There was a Civilization game on the GameCube? I don't remember that.
I was considering that period of time. But
you mean the genre of Civilization games, or?
Yeah, the genre.
Oh well, I mean, on the SNES you had SimCity, SNES, which was basically a downport of SimCity 2000. It's actually pretty good. Then you had Uncharted Waters 1 and 2, which were basically like sea exploration simulations. Then you had those Destiny the Emperor games slash Romance of the Three Kingdoms shit from Koei Tecmo that would eventually evolve into Dynasty Warriors. Yeah, the Muso series. Yeah, and it was shit back then, and it's shit now. Just now, it's repetitive button matching shit versus, actual, strategic shit going on.
Yeah, that probably is what bugged me in the first place. That things grew from interesting to outright heavy boredom, and that's the kind of boredom that I don't want in games.
Really, I think the Sim series started out strong on the SNES, and then it kind of went to shit under the GameCube because EA started porting those really shitty Sim spin-offs on the GameCube, like Sims in the City, the Herbs, and Sims, the Sims, and it's like the Sims really should be online. Like, if you can't have it online, what's the fucking point of having the Sims?
I was about to say the Sims are basically your desktop entertainment puppets, where you create your puppets, you watch them do their thing, and
you torture them. You torture them.
At times you take away their ladder, or take away a door,
or one of my personal favorites. you lock them in a room. You drop pizza in the room. And they eat the pizza, and then they gotta go to the bathroom. But they're locked in the room, and there's no bathroom, so they shit and piss themselves and die. Like, basically, The Sims lets you be a homicidal maniac without actually killing anybody.
More like an evil overseer.
If you've ever wanted to be an evil bastard, but you don't actually want to be seen as being a sick, sadistic son of a bitch, The Sims is perfect. Have a guy go swimming in his morning pool, then take away the ladder so he can't get out, so he swims and swims until he gets tired and dies and drowns. I mean, just sick shit. The Sims.
That's probably the only reason why I got. That's probably the only bigger entertainment I had with The Sims. With simulation games, in a sense.
And here's the thing. Like, I know some people might say, oh, that's terrible. Look, these aren't real people. If you're going around torturing puppies and killing kittens, you're a sick fuck. But if you're torturing a sim, I mean, they're not real. No one's going to bust down your door. You're torturing simulated people.
I would say, look at PETA before you say that kind of line.
Man, fuck PETA. Actually, that's not true. I like pita with I like a lightly toasted pita sandwich cut in half with some falafel and some romaine lettuce and some cucumbers and some sliced diced cherry tomatoes with a little bit of that tzatziki sauce. It's really good. Some feta cheese and a little bit of olive oil and basil, chopped up basil and oregano. It's actually pretty good. But as far as PETA, the people for the ethical treatment of animals, fuck them. You know what PETA does? PETA the PETA offshoots that run no-kill humane shelters. What they'll do is that, like, if they get over capacity, they'll fucking kill animals and just throw them in the trash. But they're for the ethical treatment of animals. Man, fuck those people. I mean, like, here's the thing. I am all for the ethical treatment of animals, but they take it too far.
Yeah.
That's, like, here's the thing. I'm all for everything, but sometimes you take it too far, and PETA takes it too far. But now that we've gone over that long enough, I think it's time to move on to the next topic. Our next topic is the Ubisoft sexual harassment claims. Can anyone in good conscience buy Ubisoft titles? Now, we talked about it last week, Wednesday last week, but, you know, it's still coming out.
More shit's coming out.
Look, this...
We to flush this.
Yeah, this Ubisoft stuff is like diarrhea, where you went to the bathroom one time and you thought everything came out, and then you sat down and you're like, I'm done, and then your stomach starts gurgling like, oh no, and you run back in the bathroom, more shit's coming out. Like, that's basically the Ubisoft. This Ubisoft scandal should be called Ubisoft. More shit's coming out.
I was going to say, more like Ubisoft diarrhea.
Yeah, that's a good one too. So, in light of the Ubisoft sexual harassment claims, can anyone in good conscience buy Ubisoft titles? Who wants to tackle this one first? Who wants to throw their hat in the ring on their opinion on this?
I'm trying to recover from all that laughter you gave me, so give me a minute.
Okay, Kenoshi?
I don't know. I haven't really bought a Ubisoft game because a lot of the times their games have been pretty terrible. But I haven't truly looked into it. In good conscience, probably not. You know, just for the fact of not just the sexual harassment, but a lot of the business practices they've conducted throughout the years. So.
Well, I mean, I don't know about the business practices, but the fact that they were basically like, essentially, when an abuser when the claims against an abuser would reach critical mass, they would move the motherfucker around like three-card Monty to another division in another country, where it would start all over again. So kind of like how the Catholic Church used to move around pedophile priests. Like, I was like, God damn. And when I read that thing where that one guy, Sergei Haskowit, was like, yeah, this VP is getting is getting on my is destroying my creativity, and someone should fuck her up the ass, should bend her over and fuck her up the ass until essentially her mind opens up, and then they should pass her around until her mind opens up. I'm paraphrasing it, like the way he said it. It was badly translated from the French, but it's still really fucked up what he said. I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
I can't. No.
Yeah,
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a Ubisoft fan. I have quite a few of their games just because I got them for free through like Uplay and other things. But I find myself playing a Ubisoft game for about 20 or 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and then I lose interest and get bored.
Yeah. Yeah, they are kind of boring.
Like, there's only one Ubisoft game that I really played the shit out of that I really enjoyed, and that was Far Cry Primal on the Wii, where your character Jake Carver, that's the name of the main character in the first two Far Cry games. Jake Carver gets infected with this mutagen that basically turns him into a mutant. And the cool thing about the game was that it was a first-person shooter, but you could also use the Wii's waggle controls to like attack enemies. It's actually a pretty fun game. Not great by any stretch of the imagination, but it was fun. And Red Steel 2. Like, those are the only two Ubisoft games I really enjoy. So, I mean, in other words, Ubisoft fucked up. Jewel, you have any thoughts on it?
Really, Ubisoft? It's bad enough that we have to deal with your Uplay, where you want to play with our games in a terrible way. But now we have to deal with this. And it makes me glad that I do not have any of your games downloaded into my systems. And I deleted any games that I think that have your beeping practices.
Yeah, I don't have what's it called? I have a few Ubisoft games, but I don't really play them. Like, I have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I played about an hour of that game, and I was like, I want to get into this game, but it's just boring. like Assassin's Creed's games, like even the games I want to get into, like Watch Dogs 2. I want to get into that game, but it's boring. I want to get into Watch Dogs Legion, but it's boring. I want to get it. Look, I mean, like every Watch Dogs game I play, like the first Watch Dogs, I don't like the character. Ethan, whatever his name is. The second game, I played like 3 hours, and I'm like, this is so fucking boring. Like Ubisoft's open world games are so fucking boring. They're boring. I mean, like, how are you gonna make a game and have it be boring?
I mean, they go through so many cliches, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's kind of that's kind of the cardinal sin of Ubisoft's games, is that they're just really fucking boring. To me. So to me, I'm just not really. I'm not feeling it. Unlike what's his name in Xenoblade, I'm not feeling it.
You're not shulking it.
I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. So yeah, I cannot in good faith buy Ubisoft games, even though some of them, at least on the surface, do look interesting. I'm not. Like, I can't, like, can I give my money to a company that essentially had such a hostile work environment that they were calling people sexual slurs, drugging people, women were sexually harassed at best, raped at worst? Like, can I give my money to a company? And the CEO's like, I didn't know about, like, it's like, Yves Guillemot's like, people betrayed my trust. So either you didn't know about this shit, you knew about it and buried it, or you knew about it and downplayed it. So either you're the world's worst CEO, how can you run a multi-billion-dollar company and not know about this fucked up shit? I'll never understand. I mean, I don't own a multi-billion-dollar company. My company's okay. And I know, like, if someone is accused of sexual harassment, I know about that shit the same day. So I don't know how the fuck this motherfucker's running a multi-billion-dollar company. I don't know. I don't know.
I was gonna say that there's the only way I think that they could pull that off, if at all, is through some very, very close bonds with some people.
Yeah, well, that's what he claimed in his little investor interview. He's like, well, people betrayed my trust. I'm like, let me put it this way, okay? If someone who I employed, who was a manager over people that I employed, said the shit that Sergei Haskowitz said about a VP, and I saw it, their ass would be gone the next day, if not the same day. Because I know if they're saying that to a VP of marketing, what are they doing to people who are even lower down the totem pole than they are? Like, if you treat people who are relatively close to you in terms of rank in a company like shit, I don't care. I can imagine what you're doing to people that are lower down the totem to you.
Yeah.
And that's bad. I mean, people wonder why Ubisoft's games are so bad over the last few years. This is why.
Treating your crew like trash.
Yeah. No. So I can't in good faith buy these games. I can't buy until there's like some major
changes.
Yeah, until there's some major changes to how they do business, and a lot of people are going to need to be fired. And the thing is that, like, fired and no severance pay, just your ass is gone. Because here's the thing. There are people who've done some fucked up shit, like some really fucked up shit on what's it called? In Ubisoft, and they were allowed to leave with severance pay. Whereas the people they victimized, a lot of them had to quit, a lot of them were fired, a lot of them were buried, a lot of them were burnt out. Yet the fuckers who did the shit got a golden parachute when they left, which is not. There's no justice in the world. But whatever. So.
Did we flush it down the toilet this time?
For me, I mean, until they get their shit together. Like, here's the thing. This isn't a big thing for me because I'm not really that into Ubisoft. Like, I have a few of their games, but they don't really interest me all that much. So, me not buying Ubisoft games isn't going to be like, oh no, I'm in trouble now. I'm like, no skin off my nose. I'm not losing anything by not playing Ubisoft games.
It's more
by
like
and large.
watching a fireworks show.
Well, it's like, like, here's the thing. Ubisoft is so fucked up right now, they're worse than EA. Do you know how hard it is for a company to be worse than EA? Yeah, Ubisoft,
Where's the golden poo?
No, this is worse than shit. This is like, okay, EA is bad. EA takes our favorite companies, buys them, and runs them to the ground and destroys the studios. But I haven't heard about anyone at EA raping somebody or drugging people or, saying to someone, oh, their idea is stupid, they're a faggot. Like, that's literally what someone said at an Ubisoft pitch meeting for a new game. Oh, that idea is stupid. If you don't drink this, or they go out to a drinking party after they launch a successful game, if you don't drink all this liquor, you're a faggot. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
This is the shit we gotta deal with. I mean, EA is foul, but I've never heard of that, okay? EA will work you to the bone. They will take your small studio that you grew slowly but surely and run it to the ground. But I'm pretty sure Richard Garriott wasn't raped or called a faggot or anyone on his team sexually harassed like that in an elevator. Like, I'm pretty sure none of that happened with Origin System. You get what I'm saying?
What a mess.
Like, look, Ubisoft got caught doing something so bad. And the thing is, they've been doing this for years. This has been going on since at least 2015, which means it probably was going on for at least 3 or 4 years before that. So let's say 10 years, this shit's been going on. So I can't in good faith buy.
And it's a good thing I haven't bought anything from you, Beep. Beep.
Yeah, I can't in good faith buy. I can't in good faith buy Ubisoft titles. I can't do it. I know some people are gonna get mad. They're gonna be like, "How dare you?" Can't do it. Breaking news: we have 2 games that are coming out on PC. For those of you who didn't want to get it on whatever system it was on, first of all, Phantasy Star Online 2. It's coming to Steam August 5th. So.
Oh, okay.
I tried to get it on the Windows Store, but unfortunately, the Windows, like, my computer thinks the Windows Store is like herpes, and my computer is like is like AIDS, and my computer is like the ultimate STI blocker, because it won't even let me download shit from the Windows App Store. So,
oh man,
which is a good thing because it won't let me download anything from the Windows App Store, but also a bad thing because if I try to use Xbox Game Pass, it won't let me download anything from the Windows App Store. So I can't use Game Pass, even though I have like a year free. I can't use it on my PC, which kind of sucks, but whatever. And then secondly, Disgaea 4 is coming later this year. Disgaea 4 Complete Plus is coming later this year to Xbox Game Pass and Steam. So if you want it on PC, there you go, folks. And Complete Plus means that all the DLC, all that extra shit that was just languishing away is also coming to the system. So
one complete package.
Yeah. This is what happens when you wait for a game to hit PC after the fact. Because PC, by and large, doesn't get fucked over like Nintendo gamers, where we'll get a game years after it came out, and we miss, like, literally 30-40% of the content. Or in case of the Mass Effect game, we got Mass Effect 2, not Mass Effect 1. No, we got Mass Effect 3 with none of the DLC. And then a week later, they released the Mass Effect trilogy, with the first 2 games had all the DLC on everything else.
Which is quite the middle finger.
Yeah. And even though that's fucking foul, it's still better than what Ubisoft did.
That honestly is better than what Ubisoft pulled off.
Yeah, but at least EA wasn't raping anybody. So, look, man, that's foul for gamers. But here's the thing, okay? If you own multiple consoles or have other avenues to play games, it's not that big of a deal. But, like, even if you own other consoles and someone who's a major important part of their business is going around raping people and sexually harassing them, that's real fucked up, man.
No contest there.
So in a way, like I said, even though that was foul, it's still not as bad as Ubisoft. Or can we just rebrand them as Ubi shit now? Because that's what they are.
I would say that's agreeable.
Ubi shit. And their CBO, évidemment. So with that being said, next topic. Is Paper Mario Thousand Year Door as good as I remember, or is it a case of nostalgia goggles? Now let me preface this before I get into it. I have not played this game for 5 years. I just started replaying it like Sunday. And because I didn't want to be too harsh with my original thing, with my original review of Origami King, I went back and I played this game. I started playing this game. I was like, you know what? I need to get a good taste. So I went and I plugged in my N64 and I played the original Paper Mario, like a good 4 or 5 hours of that. Then I played Sticker Star for about 2 hours because that's all you need of that game. I played Super Paper Mario. I played Color Splash as well. And I put a good 4 or 5 hours in all those games except for Sticker Star because please. Just, I couldn't do it for longer than 2 hours. I just couldn't do it. I tried really hard. I just couldn't do it. Does Thousand Year Door hold up? Does Thousand Year Door hold up? Or is it just nostalgia goggles? Well, I'm here to tell you that aside from graphically not looking nearly as good as, Origami King or Color Splash, it does hold up. It is as good as I remembered. And really, it's just a well-made game. That's all I can say on it. Good writing, well-made. Graphically, it's not all there, but, I can deal with that. And it's also way harder than Origami King or Color Splash or Sticker Star or Super Paper Mario. I would say Thousand Year Door is the hardest game in the series. It's way harder than... Like, don't let the kitty aesthetic fool you. This game will get in your ass if you don't know what you're doing. And if you haven't figured out how to do a perfect counter, oh man, this game will beat your ass.
Very funny. I beat it without having the counters. I just do blocks.
You didn't figure out how to do the perfect block? Where you counter with
blocks, I don't do counter.
Attack? Oh, that's sad.
If anything, I still came out on top better than most people.
I mean, it's a difference between taking a little bit of damage to taking no damage and actually reflecting that back on your enemy. I think. I mean, my only downside with this game is that I haven't done the perfect run where I've basically beaten the entire game, never blocking, just using perfect counters. I haven't gotten to that level of mastery yet, but one day I'll get there. And when I do, it's gonna be fucking awesome. But yeah, it holds up. It is that good. I thought, well, maybe I'm just like, it's one of those things where, when you're a kid, well, I don't know if you guys' parents are divorced, but when you're a kid and your parents get divorced and you hold the parent that your parent got divorced from in such high esteem, some kids do, that you just kind of think that, well, you're not as good as so-and-so, right? Maybe I was holding it into that type of nostalgia, but really playing the game, it really is the best game in the series, and it shows how much care and attention went into making the game. Like, even in the opening where like Mario is talking to an NPC and you see shit happening in the background that gives you information about what's going on in the overall environment of where he's at. Something that you do not get in the new Paper Mario games, or at least not to the same degree. It really, it's kind of like, damn, this really is that good. So yeah, reevaluating, it really is that good of a game. I thought maybe it was just maybe I was being using a bias, but no, it held up. Any games that you think you went back to and you're like, okay, maybe it's just me, and then you played it, you're like, oh wait, no, this really is that good.
I would say Super Metroid. People talked about how good that game was, and I played it a couple of years ago. It's like, yeah, those people are right. That is a pretty good game.
Funny, I had the opposite. That had the opposite effect for me.
Super Metroid.
Actually, it was Oh yeah, it was the Metroid. Sorry, I'm trying to get this right. Metroid Prime series.
Which one? The first one?
Starting from the first one all the way to the new ones.
Yeah, the first Metroid Prime isn't that good of a game. Really, everyone's like, man, Metroid Prime is really good. Metroid Prime is literally Super Metroid in 3D. Like, it's too heavy on collecting ammo and different weapons and different ammo types. It's like, this is ridiculous. This is the amount of shit I have to collect and keep up with, and then when you think you're at the end of the game, oh, you gotta collect all these keys. It's like, come on, man.
I was about to say, I thought you were going to mention the backtracking or those relics that you had to collect.
Well,
all
I mean,
12 of them.
every Metroid game has backtracking. That's part of the integral part of it.
I mean the intense backtracking.
Well, I mean, it wasn't really intense. It's because they give you a map of like where it's like, okay, there's shit here that you missed. Okay, I got to go there and get it. And then once you unlock the little shortcuts, it's not as bad. But I mean, basically, the first Metroid is not that good. I know some people are gonna get angry when they hear that, but it's not. The first Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime 2, much better. Metroid Prime 2 is better than the first game. It's still a little too, you gotta collect all this shit heavy, but, nothing's perfect. Metroid Prime 3, Corruption, much better. It's a much better design game.
You might as well be playing Master Chief with the Metroid Prime series at this rate.
Well, I mean, it is kind of reminiscent of Halo, but is that a bad thing? Halo's a good game.
I'm not a fan of first-person shooters, remember?
Ah, that's right. Okay, well then there you go. So, for me, I have to agree. The Metroid Prime series is a series that to me got better over time. I don't think the first game is as good as people would have you believe. And I think people forget that. They're like, oh, Metroid Prime is great. Not the first Metroid Prime. In my opinion, the first Metroid Prime is not that good. Metroid Prime 2 is better. Echoes is better. 3, Corruption is much better than all the other ones. Because they basically... I know how I say streamlining is a dirty word in video gaming, but really
it depends on the game, but I could agree with you on some of that.
The streamlining they added to Corruption and to Echoes over from the first game makes it so much more playable. There's less shit to
deal with.
There's less shit to collect, which makes it easier. And your backtracking makes sense in Corruption versus the backtracking you do in Echoes and the first Prime. And because you're going to different planets in Corruption, it doesn't feel as much like backtracking. Because it's like, okay, I have to go here to open up a new area, but there's something entirely new to explore in this new area. I'm not just... You get what I'm saying? It's not just, oh, it's a new area. You know what I mean?
I was about to say there's a new nook a new cranny to squeeze into. At least when you get new powers.
Yeah. But that's just me. So that being said, Kenoshi, you have any old game that you're like, oh, this? Well, aside from from the first 2D Metroid game.
I had Chrono Trigger. I didn't play Chrono Trigger as a kid. I played it on the emulator when I was in college, and I was really people talked about how good that game was, and I was blown away by it. This is during an era with people were all hyped up about graphics and stuff. I thought the game was fantastic, and graphically to me, in a sea of indie titles that chase that 8 to 16-bit graphic graphic style, it holds up. Holds up pretty well.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger is one of the few RPGs of that of that 16-bit era that really does. Yeah, I would say that Final Fantasy VI, Lufia 2, Earthbound to an extent. Earthbound graphically doesn't hold up, but the story and characters do. It's one of those like.
And this is from somebody that actually forgot one character, by the way.
Yeah, I forgot. Well, in Chrono Trigger, I forgot Frog, which is weird because Frog's like my favorite character in the game. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Frog fan. Yeah, I said it. I like Frog. He's my favorite character. I like the froggy goodness.
Don't mention frog legs then.
Yeah. I like the original Chrono Trigger on the SNES. I do not like Chrono Trigger on the DS. I do not like Chrono Trigger. I don't like Chrono Cross. I like the original.
I could take Chrono Trigger on the DS, but I won't not take Chrono Cross.
Like I said, the only reason I don't like Chrono Cross is because Chrono Trigger on the DS is because they added that Chaos Eater, Memory Eater dungeon that tries to connect it to Chrono Cross. And I hate Chrono Cross so much that I'm just like, no. Functionally, no.
If anything, this is the reason why additional content is at least optional. And I could at least take that a lot better.
I understand that. I'm just saying, to me, that was the point where I'm like, you tried to connect this wonderful, arguably one of the best RPGs of all time to that piece of shit. That's where you fucked up. That's where I'm like, nope. It's like you had the perfect soup and you shit in it. That's basically what they did to me.
No, it's mostly a fly.
To you, it's yeah, but if I was eating soup and I saw a fly in it, I'd be like, nah, son. I never want to eat here again.
Hey, it's one thing to have a fly in the soup. It's another to see a brown lump in the soup.
Well, I mean, it could happen to anybody. I'm just saying. It's kind of like I told you guys about the time I went to Burger King and there was a hair in my food, and I haven't been to Burger King since. Like, I'm still, like, at this point, I'm still not going to Burger King.
Yeah, Burger King sucks anyway.
I mean, I wouldn't say they suck. I would say the Burger King near me is trash. The Burger King near me is a piece of shit. I hate that Burger King.
Well,
you probably drive out your way for another one.
It doesn't matter which Burger King you go to, their breakfast is trash.
Yeah, their breakfast is not good. The only good breakfast item they have is the Mocha Joe. The Mocha Joe is really good. But all it is just coffee with chocolate syrup, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing, there's nothing else going on there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, to me, that's kind of like the thing where I'm just like, okay, I can't take that. That's a bridge too far for me. And here's the thing. Aside from that, Chrono Trigger DS is also is a good game, But for me, the stylus controls and them trying to connect it to Chrono Cross, which I fucking hate that game. Like I'm like,
sorry, but the only thing that the stylus controls at least make it easier if you're tired of pressing buttons.
yeah, I mean that's true. But the thing is, to me, I like the first time I played Chrono Trigger was on the SNES. So to me, the closer it is to the original, the happier I am. Like I don't like people adding shit
Uh,
I don't like people adding shit to my games. But then again, I mean, you're talking to the person who got mad when they ported my favorite 2D, my favorite N64 racer onto the
Diddy Kong
DS,
Racer, mind you.
and they fucked that up with stylus controls. So I was like, nah, son, I can't.
Yeah, but if anything, that's that's the difference between making a game be- understand quicker and better, and making the game worse and hard to play.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, that's the thing where I'm just like, okay, this is you done fucked up now. That's basically how I feel about stylus controls. Although RPGs, it does make sense for an RPG to have stylus controls, but I don't like it. Um,
Eh,
it reminds me too much of playing a RPG on a mobile device, and I don't want to play an RPG on a mobile device.
eh,
Um,
this is where I think we actually part.
yeah, well, yeah. That's why they're called opinions. Like assholes, everyone has one. um, but anyway, so yeah, I think Chrono Trigger holds up. Earthbound holds up. I would say Link to the Past holds up.
Link to the Past definitely holds up, especially when you compare some of those compare something like the Four Swords Adventures. It really holds up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just Link to the Past is just a really well made game. So yeah, it's gonna hold up. Um, Super Mario World holds up.
The
Actually,
SNES one.
I would say most. Well, I mean, that's the only Super Mario World in existence is the one on the SNES. The ones on the NES are Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Land, Super Mario Land 1, 2, 3. Um, to me, that's just kind of like the first Super Mario Land. I know this is gonna sound like a blasphemy, but I think the first Super Mario on the NES is not that good. I don't think it's that good of a game. I don't think it holds up. Like if you go to like it's
You mean
iconic.
that World 1-1 game that people remember all too well. That started the
You know what I'm
SNES.
talking about? Your
The NES
princess is in
era.
another castle, all that shit.
Yeah,
That
I was
Mario
gonna
game
say that
is not that
if
good.
anything, that's ancient, but it's understandably ancient.
I mean, I know what it did for gaming. I understand that it made
I said
platformers
it's
into a viable
understandably ancient, and
platform and all that shit, but
if anything, I really can't go backwards to that without some buffers.
I mean, and here's the thing: I've beaten that game multiple times. I can play it from heart. I can through every level, but it does not stand the test of time. And I know some people are gonna get mad. I know some people are gonna get upset. I don't care. It doesn't stand the test of time. Um, it does not. And the original, and I'll tell you something else. The original Metroid isn't that good either. Yeah, I said it.
I was about to say, if you mean the original Metroid for the for the NES,
Yes.
oh god,
Yes, the
that
original Metroid on the NES is not that good of a game.
reason
I
why I
understand.
remember Zero Mission more than the original.
The only good thing about the original Metroid is the music. The music is really good for the NES era. But aside from that, it's not a good game. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. I said it. And I meant it.
If anything, go to Zero Mission. You'll never touch Metroid the original Metroid ever again.
Yeah, Zero Mission is so much better than the original game that.
Yeah, that's really the only way to play that game these days.
Yeah, like
Playing
why would I
with
want to
different
play the
information.
original Metroid? The original Metroid is trash. I mean, and there's a lot of games on the NES that are good, but the original Metroid is not one of them.
Yeah.
And I know some people are gonna get mad. They're gonna be like, "How could you say that?"
Funny enough, I feel that same way when it comes to Legend of Zelda 2.
Not to
Yeah,
mention that. Not to mention that little bonus they add in Zero Mission at the end of the game.
yeah. Once you beat the
helped
game, you can
elevate it.
play the original. There you go, and you can see just how bad it is. You'll be like, "Oh wait, this is trash."
What's great about the ending they added to the Zero Mission?
What?
You know the ending they add to Zero Mission where you go onto the
Oh yeah, it
Oh,
basically
the Space Pirates.
it gives you some extra content where you get to face the you get the
Space
zero.
Pirate.
Yeah, you finally get the Zero suit because Samus loses her suit and then she has to get a new one. It's kind of, I mean, it's a complete departure from the gameplay because you have to play. It turns into a stealth game, which is kind of weird.
To be honest, with you, I actually was able to stand the stealth missions.
Well, I don't have anything against the stealth missions. I'm just saying that when I think of a Mario, not Mario, when I think
Metroid.
of a Metroid game, stealth is not one of the things that I'm really like, yeah, man, those stealth missions. But it's a
It
nice,
makes sense, but it kind of is a break from the norm.
yeah, it's a nice, but it's such a jarring change of pace that it just feels kind of like out of left field, is what I'm saying. To me, I know some people are gonna get mad and be like, "Oh, could you say that?"
Yeah, but if anything, as I said, the stealth mission is a real understandable thing. But if anything, it will surprise some people if they aren't used to the interesting the weapon defenselessness.
Well, the thing is that she loses her suit because I forget she fights some enemy and she like,
Actually, she was shot out of the sky and then had to crash land in order to survive, and then had to raid their ship in order to get some new powers.
well, and no, in Zero Mission, her suit because the whole thing about the suit is that like basically in order for her to use the abilities, it's all like she has to have like mental concentration or some shit like that, and because of like the shock of that battle, like her suit shatters or some shit if I remember correctly, and she's got to go to a Chozo array and get the suit replaced or repaired or some shit, and you have to do like this weird almost mini game thing. It's weird. It's very strange. I mean it's such a vast departure from the rest of the game. But yeah, I wish that the Metroid 2 remake would have been like Zero Mission, but instead they tried to make it like Metroid Prime, which is where they fucked up with that game in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna make it like Metroid Prime. Why do you keep on trying to inject Metroid Prime into 2D Metroid games?
I mean, Metroid Prime is a okay series to me, but please do not try to inject Metroid Prime into original Metroid.
Well, they're two completely different games. Like the 2D Metroids are all about like how quickly can you get through the game to get to the end in order to defeat said enemy. That's what it's about. Like it's like you're trying to get through this shit as quickly as possible. That's how you get good finishes for those games is by doing that. So it's kind of weird that you would try to inject that style of gameplay into Prime, which is all about exploration and atmosphere and shit like that. Like I don't get like it just seems kind of weird to me, but you know, whatever. They'll do whatever the hell they want because they're assholes. But anyway, yeah, I did not like Metroid Prime.
The original Metroid.
No, I didn't like. I didn't like the remake. Like I like the original Metroid Prime 2 over
saying
the
the
remake.
original- I was
Samus
saying that you don't
Returns.
want the I was saying that you don't want the original Metroid, and you didn't like Prime, Metroid in your, Metroid in your Metroid 2. Metroid Prime in your Metroid 2.
Well, I'll keep it real. The first Metroid, the first time I played the original Metroid, I played it way back when I was a little kid. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. The second time I played it, I got. Remember when Nintendo released those like re-releases of the black box games on the Game Boy Advance? And that's how I got Metroid, the original Metroid. And it's not a bad game. It really isn't. Like me saying I don't like it isn't because it's a bad game. It's because, like the second time I played, I had a walkthrough so I could figure out where everything was. It's just Zero Mission is so much better of a game. It's like it's better designed. It's just better. It's like this is what the technology prevented them from making the first Metroid. You know what I'm saying? When you play Zero Mission, Metroid 2: Samus Returns is a like despite the hardware limitations of the Game Boy, is just a really good game. And I think them trying to pigeonhole that game into the Metroid Prime universe fucked it up, in my humble opinion. But that's just me. You know, everyone has its own.
Of course.
You know, I mean, there's different games that people think will stand the test of time. To me, I don't think the first F-Zero is that good of a game. I think that it's a nice tech demo for Mode 7 and Mode 11 and Mode 8 and Mode 9. But as far as being a good game, nope. I know people are going to get angry when they hear that. How dare you, sir? You. How dare you say that that F-Zero is not a great game? No, I mean, it's a glorified tech demo. Just like Pilot Wings is a glorified tech demo.
There's some games that are worthy of the name tech demo.
Well, they are. They're tech demos for Mode 7 and Mode 11 and the transparencies. They're tech demos for the SNES. Not like Nintendo loves taking tech demos and turning them into games. Like every single system they've launched, aside from the NES, has started out as a tech demo and then turned into a game. I'm not against that. I'm against, like, some of those games aren't that good.
Yeah.
That's my problem. Some of those tech demos are not good games, and I know some people are going to be like, oh, how could you say that? They just aren't. You know, like Pilot Wings is a great tech demo for Mode 7 and all that shit. But as far as being a good game, I don't think so. F-Zero, great looking game. The music is awesome. The gameplay is okay. But I mean, there's better. There are better Mode 7 racers on the SNES than F-Zero.
Yep.
And I know some people are going to get angry when they hear that.
I think I think it's okay, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really played it enough to be like, oh, is this a good game or a bad game? Or
I've played it enough. I don't think it's as good as people would have you believe. It's not terrible. It's just not as good as people would have you believe. Like it's not terrible. It's not like, oh my god, this shit needs to be thrown in the trash. It's just not as good as what people would have you believe.
I mean, Thing is, I don't really understand why people want a new F-Zero so bad. It just seems like there's a lot of games out there that already exist that are like it.
Well, because F Zero is pure racing and it looks all cool and shit, and people like that. And I get it. My problem with F Zero is that, like, aside from the one on the Game Boy Advance, it doesn't do anything new or interesting with the formula. It's just the same shit over and over again. You know, it's, oh, we're racing fast on tracks. It's like, okay, can we earn money and spend it to upgrade our cart? No. I mean, you can do that in Game Boy Advance, but aside from that, you couldn't. Is there anything else going on except just racing? It's boring. To me. I know some people are going to be like, oh, but I love F-Zero. Look, I'm not casting aspersions on someone liking something. I'm just telling you that it's not as good as what people would have you believe. It's not terrible. It's just not great. And it could be a lot better. I think Nintendo could do a lot of stuff to make F-Zero more interesting, but they just, like, they kind of ran out of ideas. But anyway, talking about games that Nintendo made that just they kind of ran out of ideas on. Let's talk about unpopular opinions. Unpopular opinion. Who wants to go first?
I got one for sure.
Okay, go.
Okay, the thing is that there is a difference between music and odd noises. And as much as I'm gonna probably get hate on for it, some games that are trying to go retro, they sometimes have a hit and miss when it comes to their audio, especially with music. Some music, oh yes, baby, that is sweet. But other times, you might want to find your own music track for those games. And I consider that so far there has been a lot of good tracks, but there has been those few rare stinkers.
Do you have any examples, or is it just?
This is probably odd that I'm I'm going with a fighting game that went with the bad side of this one. I'm trying to get the name of it, but it's off. But I really can't catch it.
What game is the system on?
Believe it or not, the Switch. It's an 8-bit retro styled like the GBA fighting game, but it's made for the Switch.
All right.
So, if anything, Shovel Knight kind of gets it when it comes to good retro audio.
Yeah, Shovel Knight has good music. Not gonna lie, it's pretty damn good. Not the best, but pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially that first level, Strike the Earth. That's just, I mean, it's like the perfect song to get you amped up on for what you're about to do. Most games don't do that for you. Most games don't have that level of, oh man, I'm getting amped with this. It's fucking awesome, bro. Brah.
Yeah. I would actually, what retro games have good music for you, and what retro games have bad music? But I think that'd be over my time.
Mega Man. The Mega Man series has always had good music. On the NES, Mega Man 2. On the SNES, the X, all three X games have good music.
I was talking about games that are trying to go retro on purpose, like going back towards nearly going back to Mega Man 11 in a sense.
Purposely retro music that's really good. I don't know.
That's a little harder, isn't it?
I mean, the big one is Shovel Knight.
Besides the obvious.
I mean, the big one is Shovel Knight. Maybe the new Panzer Paladin.
that that game that you were playing on some of your videos?
Yeah, Panzer Paladin really kind of reminds me of if someone made an 8-bit Mega Man X.
Hmm.
And the music is really good. Kenoshi, you have any unpopular opinions you want to share?
Yeah, I don't think Halo Infinite is it looks as bad as people think it looks. I think people are it's people are so
Into graphics?
into graphics more than they are into gameplay. They're just I think people are just freaking out over nothing.
I
It's
agree.
like and it's like I've heard people complain about the game. It's like, what are you guys complaining about? This game looks fine. I
Yeah,
mean, I like the fact that they actually showed a game that actually has a decent amount of color.
yeah,
And Microsoft hasn't been known to do that. So
yeah. Normally
I
they
don't know.
do bro it up
Yeah,
with good color.
I can't follow these people anymore
Yeah, I
when it comes
mean,
to what they want and what they don't want in video games.
I agree. I do think that it doesn't look that bad. As a matter of fact, it looks like it looks like if someone said, "Okay, we have the technology, but people don't like our new shit. Let's do a reimagining of what the original two Halos would look like on modern technology." And that's basically what graphically it looks like. It looks like the two modern Halos on graphical technology. And people are like, well, the art, the environment looks like artificial and fake. You do realize that in the game you landed on a ring, which has been manufactured and is artificial and fake, right? Like that's the whole point of Halo. I think people are just being bitches, really. To be honest with you, I think people are
Yeah,
just
I just
looking for
think
shit to complain about.
yeah. I mean, obviously the game's not finished yet, and whatever. But it's just, it's a cross-platform game, so I don't really understand why people are like, I saw a title of a video, oh, Halo Infinite's in serious trouble. It's like, really come on.
For real.
Yeah.
For real, bruh. For real.
Yeah.
Is it really in trouble? For real?
Yeah.
Or are you just saying that because you guys just want people to come to your videos? Um, I have two unpopular opinions. The first one is about gaming. The second one, well, they're both about gaming, but one is about like video games, and the other one's about not video games. So, the first one's about video games. I'll do the non-video game one first. Non-video game one first. I don't like D&D. I think it's too restrictive. I think
I was
that
about to say 5e.
I haven't liked D&D since the third edition.
Dang.
I prefer Pathfinder, and I prefer Pathfinder and I prefer Pathfinder first.
Fancy.
Well, if I have to play someone made this game a certain way, I prefer Pathfinder first. And then if I can't play Pathfinder, I'll do Homebrew. Well, actually, I prefer Homebrew first, then Pathfinder. And then if I have to play like a fantasy setting, if I want something that's more techno, I'll do Shadowrun or Cyberpunk. I don't like D&D. I don't like the settings of D&D by and large. I like the ideas behind D&D. I don't like the game itself. Since the third edition. I didn't like fourth edition. I didn't like.
I was about to say, it's rare to find anybody that likes 4th edition. It's the redheaded stepchild.
I don't like it. So that's my first unpopular opinion. My gaming unpopular opinion is this. I think gamers, by and large, I think a lot of gamers spend way too much time worrying about how they. Like, okay, here's the thing. Just because I don't like something doesn't mean that I'm the authority on that thing. There's tons of shit that I don't like, and just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It just means I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's tons of shit that I don't like. And just because I don't like it doesn't mean that it's not a viable thing. And people forget that. They think that, oh well, if I don't like it, then it's somehow, how dare you not like something that I like? But I mean, the thing is, not everyone's gonna like everything you like. That's what
Yeah.
makes the world. That's what makes life enjoyable. Is that there's variety. Okay,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna like. I like Italian food and Chinese food. Just because I like Italian food and Chinese food doesn't mean that you have to like Italian food and Chinese food.
So there's a difference between quality differences and not- and differences that look like they're just a piece of paper.
I mean, it just basically boils down to everyone likes different shit, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with liking different shit. Uh,
Yeah. But
you
as I
know,
said, there's a difference between having different stuff and having quality different stuff. As in, you want to have a good variety, but the variety might. But if the variety is just one note or bland, it might as well be nothing or vanilla.
yeah.
So I at least could agree with you. I just hope that it's quality differences that you could actually notice.
Well, I mean, I understand that there's different things that people have different things about. I'm just saying that people just don't. People get way too caught up on that type of shit. They're like, you don't like this. Look, not everyone's gonna like the same shit.
And I could get that. I just hope that they understand the difference between difference between having a difference between flavors and bland vanilla.
You know, and here's the thing: it would be a sad world if everyone liked the same shit. Could you imagine how fucking sad it would be if everyone liked the same shit over and over and over again? That'd be terrifying.
True, true, true. But then
But
again, we got monopolies.
and that's why we had years of people playing the same game and liking the shit, which is just terrifying, really, when you get down to it. That's why you had years of people making the same shit over and over again, and no one's saying anything. Like, I mean, you see that, like, remember how they had that thing from years ago where they showed, like, Battlefield, Call of Duty, and Battlefront, and some other game, and they were like,
You could
can
really
you tell the
tell apart.
difference? And you couldn't tell the difference because it was all basically the same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that was a mess.
Like, I don't wanna live in a world where everything's the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, I like different shit. I know that's a harsh thing for people to understand because everything's basically the same shit these days. Like, a lot of people are basically doing the same shit over and over again, but I don't like it. I don't like it. Not one bit. No, sir. So that's my. So yeah, that's my other unpopular opinion. Um, Let's see. Do I have any others? No, that's it. Anyone have anything else they want to add? Anyone have anything else they want to add before we wrap things up?
That's what came in the mail for me. I'll be all right.
What, you had to do something that you didn't want to do?
No, if anything, something that I ordered finally came in.
Oh, that's good.
Though, if anything, it took a while because of mail troubles.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna use eBay again. I ordered something and it's supposed to be here on Monday and it still hasn't shown up yet.
Well,
it says that it's shipped, but it's not. It's not even. It hasn't even been. It's not even in transit yet. I checked yesterday.
I mean, that's kind of the problem with eBay is that everything is like they don't have a facility. The person who you ordered it from has to send it to you. So if you're ordering it from like just Joe Blow average guy and not from a reputable seller, you don't know what in the hell you're getting.
And if anything, that includes people that try to make their own card games. This is from personal experience.
I mean,
if I don't see it by Monday, I'm just gonna say.
Did you
contact the seller and say what's going on?
Yeah, did you order this from a seller or did you order it from? Because I've ordered shit off of eBay, but through like a storefront. So like Newegg sells shit on eBay.
Yeah,
I might end up doing that.
I bought. The difference is that I bought a few things I bought a few packs from one retailer that was a trusted retailer, as in direct from the customer. I mean, direct from the shop, and one from a third-party retailer of sorts, as in somebody that didn't have a big deal. And I got the brand name pretty quick, and I'm still waiting for the other one. And they said that they'll be around tomorrow.
Yeah, for me, like I tend to go with the reputable type of thing. I don't go with
brand names.
I don't go with Joe Blow some guy because the times that I've gone with Joe Blow just some guy on eBay, what happens is that they don't send the shit because they're waiting on you to send the money, okay? And which is kind of a dick. I mean, look, I understand those people want to get paid, okay? I totally get it.
Well, the thing is with Amazon, they don't usually take the money out until it ships.
Yeah, but Amazon has this huge infrastructure to support that. Other people do not.
Yeah. I'm just saying should be something like how it should work on eBay. There should be some sort of confidence in knowing, okay, this product is this product is shipped or whatever.
I get it.
So,
I'm just telling you, that's just,
Yeah, if I don't see it by Monday, I'm just gonna
Cancel.
next Monday. Yeah, I'm gonna cancel. I'm gonna tell go to eBay and say, hey, look, I haven't got my product. And this is the second time. Like the last time it happened, the person wasn't such a they're like, yeah, we're sorry, you didn't get your product. And then this time because this is not the first time it's happened. I ordered something from eBay. This happened at least. This is like the third time. The first time I ordered a product, I got it, and the product came broken, and then I sent it back, and then they were like, it was even more broken than we saw in the picture, and I'm just kind of like, look, it wasn't gonna work anyway, even if I sent it to you back as it wasn't gonna work. It wasn't gonna work anyway. It was a CPU. the pins were bent and it wasn't going to fit. It wasn't going to fit in the motherboard.
Yeah.
So I had to send it back, and
I mean,
they were being jerks about it. And I ended up getting a full refund because I ended up going through eBay, and it's kind of like.
that's why when I order shit off of eBay, like CPUs and stuff like that, I don't go with some, like if you go with a personal seller versus like an individual, like if you go with an individual seller versus someone who actually like Newegg or some company or some shit, it's like shit like that happens. Whereas if you go with someone who has their shit together, then you don't have to worry about that because it's like, oh, okay, well, this is how much we're doing. This is what's going on. And if you don't like it, you have a warrant, you have a rebate, so you can send that shit back. Like when I went and what was it? I had to get my what was it called? I had to get my like when I got my gaming PC, essentially they sent me a defective CPU.
Yeah.
Like it was defective. Not CPU. They sent me a defective graphics card. And so basically, because it had a warranty, they had to send me a new one.
Yeah.
And I just got a brand new one. I was like, okay, cool. Now, if I had been going through a personal seller, they could have been like, well, it's like, I got your money. What you gonna do about it? Which, some people are like that.
That's a D move.
Well, I mean, eBay's like this. Like, if you're a seller and you don't, because I've sold shit, because I got rid of my last GPU because I didn't need it anymore because got a new GPU. I don't need the old one. So I sold it to this guy, and he was like, well, there's something wrong with the GPU. I'm like, that's kind of weird because the GPU is a brand new GPU. Because it was brand new and unopened, so that's how I knew it was brand new. It wasn't just like installed in there. So, it is what it is. But yeah, that's kind of like my only thing. I'm like, if you're gonna buy something, just don't buy it from
the random person.
Yeah, because there's always a chance that they're gonna get all weird, and then you got to be like, hey man, what are you doing? Sometimes you got to be like that. But anyway, that's all I'm saying. And we've gone a little bit over, but fuck it. That's the end of this podcast. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. Peace. Good night. And that's
Don't
right.
forget to wash your hands, by the way.
That's right. Wash your hands. Stay safe. Wear a mask. If someone's around you and coughing, get away from them. They might have something.